Welcome to The Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to totally demystify neuroplasticity and finally take control of your own biology, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're breaking down Dr. Joe Dispenza's genuinely fascinating framework on how to completely rewire your mind. Okay, let's dive into this. Let me just ask you a question right off the bat. Did you wake up this morning and immediately start thinking about your problems? Be honest. If you did, you're definitely not alone. But see, here's the biological issue with that. Those problems are tied to specific past memories, and those memories carry heavy, heavy emotional weight. When you wake up and instantly recall them, your brain is basically acting like an old tape recorder playing the exact same cassette. You're quite literally starting your day by living in the past, putting your body in a state of pain or sadness before your feet have even hit the floor. And from there, the whole autopilot morning begins, right? You wake up, grab your phone, and check Instagram, WhatsApp, or the news, instantly locking yourself into everything that is already known in your life. Then, you use the same coffee cup, you take the exact same commute, and you see the exact same people who push the exact same emotional buttons. This repetitive cycle is actually pretty dangerous because it strips away your free will. It basically turns your daily life into a predictable, automated computer program. To truly understand how powerful this programming really is, we've got to look at the sheer magnitude of our mental activity. Get this, you have on average 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in a single day. That is just an unbelievable amount of cognitive energy firing through your brain from the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that out of those 70,000 thoughts, a staggering 90% of them are the exact same thoughts you had yesterday. Think about the compounding effect of that. The same thoughts lead to the same choices. The same choices lead to the same behaviors. And the same behaviors create the exact same experiences and emotions. Basically, you are constantly recreating a destiny that you might not even like, simply because you're running yesterday's script. So that brings us to Section 1, the subconscious autopilot, which is really what's running the show here. Because by the time we reach 35 years old, a massive portion of who we are is just a memorized set of behaviors. Your conscious mind, the part of you that holds your actual desires, your wishes to be healthy, happy, and free, that makes up a tiny 5% of who you are. The other 95%? That is a deeply ingrained subconscious program. It completely controls your reactions, your unconscious habits, and your hardwired attitudes. So when you try to change your life using just your conscious mind, it's literally like pitting an average skinny guy against an Olympic-level powerlifter in a weight lifting competition. The powerlifter is your 95% subconscious. Honestly, it's no wonder you struggle to make changes. Your body just ends up overpowering your desires and defaulting right back to the old program. And because of this dominant subconscious program, most people spend 70% of their life living in survival mode and stress. They're constantly anticipating the worst-case scenario based on what happened in the past. It's kind of like looking at a massive menu of infinite potential in your life, a menu with endless amazing options, and deliberately selecting the absolute worst possible meal. That's exactly what we do when we let our stress program run unchecked. Moving on to Section 2, why the body resists. It all comes down to chemical addictions. So you're probably wondering, why is it so incredibly hard to just snap out of it? Well, it's because the problem isn't just in your head, it's chemically rooted in your physical body. Because we recreate negative emotions so often, the body actually becomes addicted to that predictable chemical state. It becomes the master rather than the servant. Entering the unknown to make a change feels absolutely terrifying to the body. It's like stepping into a deep, rushing river. The body genuinely believes that if it tries to cross to the other side, it will die. It would literally rather stay on the familiar shore of guilt and suffering because, hey, even though it's miserable, at least it's predictable. And man, the moment you decide to sit down and change your mind, say, through meditation, the body immediately deploys its sabotage tactics. Suddenly, your nose starts itching. You desperately remember an urgent email you forgot to send. A completely random memory from 20 years ago pops into your head out of nowhere. This is your body begging you to give up, trying to drag you back to your 8 a.m. routine of reading emails and getting angry. It has a full toolkit designed specifically to stop you from crossing that river. Which brings us to our next part, Section 3, rehearsing the future. This is where we talk about making real changes. To make real, lasting changes, we actually have to access your brain's operating system, and this is where the tool of meditation comes in. But let's strip away all the mystical jargon for a second. The literal definition of the word meditation is simply to become familiar with. So the crucial point is this: meditation is just a practical tool to become so intensely familiar with your old thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that they can no longer slip by your awareness unchecked. You watch them so closely that they completely lose their power to control you.
Think of creating a new self exactly like cultivating a garden. You can't just throw in your seeds on hard, weed-infested dirt, right? Step 1 is pulling the weeds and the rocks, identifying and removing those old toxic habits. Step 2 is preparing the soil, which really means slowing down your brainwaves. And only then can you reach Step 3, actually planting the new seeds of your future, by mentally rehearsing exactly who you want to be.
But wait, mental rehearsal isn't just about thinking. Think of your brain like an internet modem. Thoughts are the language of the brain, they're that modem, but feelings are the language of the body, they're the Wi-Fi connection. If you just imagine a new life but don't emotionally feel it, your modem is on, but your Wi-Fi is disconnected. You literally cannot download your new future. You have to emotionally teach your body what the future will feel like ahead of the actual physical experience.
All right, let's get into the action plan, section 4, this 7-day challenge where you can actually start seeing shifts.
Now, according to Dr. Dispenza, you don't need years of isolation on a mountaintop to start seeing a shift. You only need 7 days. But be warned, this requires some serious mental discipline. Training your body is exactly like training a wild dog. You tell it to sit and wait, and it runs away to an old stressful memory. You catch it, bring it back to the present moment, and it runs away again to an itch on your nose. You have to repeatedly catch it and say, sit. Every single time you bring your attention back, you're telling the body that you are the master. Eventually, the body will surrender. And when it does, there's a massive liberation of energy. You completely free yourself from the chains of your familiar past.
And once you reach that state of surrender and connect your new thoughts with new emotions, you arrive at this incredibly empowering realization. As Dispenza says, you no longer need to wait for your success to happen in order to feel successful. You don't need to wait for wealth to feel abundant. You don't need to wait for a new relationship to feel love. By generating those feelings right now, today, you step out of the victim mentality and you actively become the creator of your reality.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. You now know exactly how the subconscious traps you, and you know the exact formula to break out of it. So if you only have 7 days to reprogram your life, what will you do when you wake up tomorrow? Will your morning be just another tape-recorded repeat of your past, or will it be the active rehearsal of your new future? The choice is absolutely yours. I highly encourage you to start your 7 days tomorrow. Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me.